I'm here with Alex. So we've covered quite a bit of ground, Alex. And what I'd like to do is end this interview, this chat, with some of the top tips that you can give property investors today. Some of the questions they get asked me is how do they raise finance? How do they get a good team? You know, I've been let down, as many have. I think it's part of the property journey, by a whole bunch of people. My worst was a joint venture with somebody running off with a lot of finance.
Yes. In order to raise finance initially, what I did was I worked like a dog. I had no family commitments, I was single, I was able to work all the hours God sent. So I worked and saved and got a mortgage. In order to progress myself further on my property venture, I did do joint ventures, although I didn't call them that at the time. Did joint ventures with some of my friends. The joint ventures were, I was both lucky and unlucky because the friends were honest in their business relationship with me, but as the person who ended up more into property and probably more into the maintenance and management of it, it did end up that really I was doing most of the work. I bought them out. It had to happen. It was an inevitable consequence. Now, subsequently, people have come to me and asked me to joint venture with them. A lot of them very good close friends, and to date, I've refused every single one of them. Really speaking, I've possibly failed a bit. I failed a bit to see what I could contribute to them. I failed to see what they were asking me to do. But after my initial couple of joint ventures, I was probably a little bit scared of damaging relationships with people. So what I would say to you now, looking back, is that you shouldn't be scared of that, and you should be prepared to be friends with people, but be prepared not to be friends with them if the venture doesn't work out, so that you can sit down at the table, you can bang the table and say, look, you aren't doing this, you aren't doing that. Whereas what I did in the end myself, I just bought them out. I just thought, right, that's enough, I'm paying them off, I'm going to do it. Whereas if I'd have actually sat down at the table and hammered my fist on the table, I might have got a bit further, to be honest. Those ventures might have still been going, and I might have been even bigger, even more profitable, even more wealthy than I am now. So I would say you definitely need to have it out with people you go into business with. Makes the air clear, allows you to move forward. In terms of having a good team, really speaking, you've just got to go through people till you find good people. I've had a lot of people on my books over the years. I built up a core of probably, a small number who have been with me perhaps for a range of 10, 15, 20 years, and they're very, very good. But you do get turnover. I would say in the building trades, you've definitely got to avoid arrogance. You've got to look for people with sound family backgrounds, people who want regular, steady income, and you can employ them. If you're looking for people who want to make a quick buck over 6 weeks of a project, if you've got a big estate and you want to build a team that work regularly with you, then that isn't for you. But if you're looking just to bang a project out and drop people afterwards, then maybe it just is about what you can afford to pay them in a week and how quickly you can leave them go once you don't need any building work done. But there will come a point when you've got a big estate, as I have, where you need a team on board 24/7 all year, and it does pay to have the right people for that. And just over the years you end up picking them up, and you look after them, you be good to them, and within reason, as long as you pay people fairly, people work for you if they want to work for you. If you want to behave like a right bastard towards your employees, you've got to so overpay them in order to keep them. Be nice to people, be good to people, they stay with you. They respect what you're all about. I'd also say to people as well, when going into your projects, don't get overexcited first off. It's very, very easy. I've seen it within my own estate. You buy a house, you spend a pile on it, you've got the newest kitchens, the newest finishes. Your tenants are lining up before the builders are finished. You fill your property at higher than market rents and you're really excited. You think, hey, I've hit it, I'm better than all the other time served landlords, I know something different. Your property's still looking fresh at year 7, you're still doing well. But come year 15, come year 20, can you let your properties then? Can you keep them full then? That's where the landlording skill comes in. Your landlording skill comes in building a big estate. Your landlording skill comes in keeping that estate full, in keeping your maintenance cycle going. So properties that you've had for 15, 20 years, you can shut them down, you can turn them over, you can keep them fresh, you can keep them full of tenants. There's the skill. There's loads of people I see in the market now, and I call them fresh plaster merchants. They're going out and spending loads of money on their properties. The properties are newly built, newly decorated, they fill them with tenants, they get really excited about how well they're performing. I think a lot of those people in year 15 and year 20 are going to have something coming if they don't think carefully about what they're doing. Because that is the real skill. The real skill is having the property in good order and full years down the line. I'd also say to you that when making decisions with tenants, making business decisions, you need to think about a little saying I've got, and my saying is you need to be right in your pocket. Be very careful of making moral decisions or decisions that are reflex decisions that, whilst they might be totally right, affect you badly financially. So sometimes a tenant might come to you and a tenant might say, oh, I want to do X, Y, Z, and X, Y, Z isn't something really they should be doing with their tenancy. You could say, no way, mate. You fall out with the tenant moves out, you have a void, you lose money. You're right. But maybe acquiescing a bit to what the tenant wants, and the tenant will stay or the tenant will come back. So you need to really, really think carefully about what the financial implications to you are of every decision you make. And as long as what you're doing is lawful, you need to say, is that decision the right decision for my pocket? And that is one of the things to go by. I would also say to you that you want to be careful about people who want to take a slice of your cake. I was at a catering exhibition once and somebody was demonstrating a cake. They'd cut a big cake up into 12 slices and they had gathered a big crowd in front of them. The guy from the cake company was selling to restaurateurs. He was saying, put your hands up if you think you've done well, if you've sold all this cake. And I said, oh, this cake, I meant do well if you've sold 10 slices of this cake. And loads of people put their hands up, they said. And he said, well, you're all wrong. And he said, I'll tell you why you're wrong. There's 12 slices in this cake. The last 2 slices are your slices. You've got to remember that with property. It's the last room, the last 2 rooms in your property, they're your profit. So what you've got to think, if people are top slicing your business, if agents, if maintenance people are taking money out of your budget, it might not seem a lot of money, but they're top slicing you. They're taking your 2 slices of profit. So before paying people, you need to think, am I paying out my turnover? Am I paying out from my actual cost base, or am I giving you my profit? And if you're giving people your profit, you need to have a careful think about what you're doing. One of the most important things, and I will end on this, is that you need to be liquid. There is absolutely no good being in business, being a landlord, if you haven't got cash in the bank. If you can't pay your bills next week, it doesn't matter what you're worth. And in my time, I've been close to the line. Some of the building works I've done and some of the risks I've taken, I've been in a position where I've been blinking lucky to come through it. And I've learned that I don't like being in that position and I shouldn't be. So it doesn't matter what you're worth on paper. The banks, the professionals, the lawyers, they will have it off you if you can't pay your bills next week.